Adam, I happen to agree with you. I've been struggling with the competing rhetoric, I've got to say, about this war for a very long time. I mean, we're told repeatedly that Putin is a madman and he could do anything, and yet it seems that no one has a rationale or an interest in de-escalating the tensions. Instead, they want to escalate them. They want to leave him no way out, which might push him to a nuclear response. Now, if I go back last year, I remember Henry Kissinger saying we should negotiate, and he was the man who, on this day in 1973, negotiated an accord to end the Vietnam War. So is it time that we put diplomacy in here, recognising that this is an intractable situation and we don't want World War III?
Yeah, look, it certainly is time, in my view, and this idea that Putin's crazy or a madman, this is a very new invention. I mean, he's been the leader of Russia essentially for 20 years, and he was regarded as a rational actor until now. There's constant chatter that if he succeeds or prevails in any way in Ukraine, then he's going to attack Finland or attack the European Union in some way, and that's the main justification, as I see it, for continuing to support Ukraine. But I just don't think that there's any evidence that Putin is going to attack Europe or Finland or Poland. I mean, he's never said that. I mean, he said for 20 years in various speeches that Russia would not allow Ukraine to become part of NATO. And he said if it looked like that was going to happen, then Russia would invade. And so that's exactly what's happened. So I don't see any evidence that he has ambitions beyond Ukraine. I mean, maybe he does. We don't know inside his head. But we just have to look at what he said and how he's acted. And to stress again, I'm not condoning on what he's done, but he's now done it, and we have to deal with those facts. I mean, it's worth stressing too, I think, from the point of view of Australia. I mean, which has generally been very supportive of the US, very supportive of Ukraine, and that's completely understandable. But as the US Navy Secretary said only just last week, I mean, this is draining the resources of the US Navy and the US military. Now, I mean, if we expect the US to support us in some future confrontation, be it with China or whoever, then we can't afford to have the US completely bogged down in Ukraine. I mean, resources are finite, and I think that's what the US now is slowly starting to realise.
Yeah, and it's coming to that conclusion very, very late in the piece. Adam, can I turn your attention to the US? The FBI is considering further searches to locate some classified documents that are linked to President Biden, and the Department of Justice found more documents in his possession, even though the White House has repeatedly said that all of them have been disclosed. They keep turning up. Now, I'm picking up two schools of thought here. The first is that this is an inside hit on Biden in response to him seeking another term. And the second is that someone linked to the investigation into the Biden business dealings has actually flipped to save themselves. What's the word in Washington?
Well, look, just on the first point about an inside hit and some sort of plant, of course it is possible. Some Democrat congressmen have even said that. They've even raised that publicly. There's no evidence as yet of that. I mean, so far I just see that as this issue as a hugely embarrassing political issue for the Biden White House. Certainly it's delayed any announcement of running for a second term, that's for sure. But until we see the verdicts of the special counsel, the two special counsels, obviously, we have one looking into Trump, also one looking into Biden now, we don't have the full array of facts. But it is, I mean, the broader point, I think, is that this is a bit of a storm in the teacup for the broader American public. I mean, the US has so many serious problems now on the southern border: inflation, the economy, the prospect of being embroiled in Ukraine. This issue has completely distracted the political class and the media, and I'm sure most Americans don't really care that much about it, the Trump case or the Biden case for that matter.
Yeah, it's another case perhaps of inside the Beltway issues that the people don't care about. They just want their problems solved. Adam Creighton, you do fantastic work for the Australian and for the Australian public, I should say,
thanks, Corey,
over in Washington. So thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks very much.